And welcome back to a Thursday afternoon video. As you probably may know, these psychopaths, warmongers of Brussels, have voted a bill to rearm Europe. $800 billion. That's how much Americans spend on their defence every year. Seen in a continent, Europe, industry, due to the cost of energy so high, they decided to cut off the cheap source energy, and most of the industries are closing or in extreme difficulty. Now we've got the von der Leyen and some other twit who was a NATO chief at Brussels, saying we'll need private investments for this so-called rearming Europe effort. You know that means they'll be going after for your hard-earned savings, which you have in a bank or some building society, to finance this insane war which they're going to fight with Russia with someday. The fact is, we live in a very divided society. There's no unity. And you think, while these warmongers and psychopaths continue to play the war of drums, and the rest of the EEC, Europe is naive what these people are doing. The people haven't got the fuckest idea what these cunts are doing to us, you and me. They are taking us to war. World War III. And the fact is, with all the economical difficulties and all the immigration problems which Europe is handling now, are faced with, thinking about war against Russia, is absolutely insane. And you think the sons and daughters of all the European countries are willing to sacrifice their lives for what? For what ideal? For what narrative? Because it's done on purpose. They have no way out. All the EC countries are in deficit. But they can say, you can borrow money if you give it to Ukraine, or you buy arms for your country. And I think what's more important is we have peace and prosperity throughout the world, because this is a benefit for all. War and destruction and all the devastation which war takes with it has no benefit for us. It only benefits the fat cats who make money upon making arms of destruction. I'm not saying we shouldn't have no military forces. We should have military forces to defend our nation. Fair enough. But thinking you're going to go to war with a superpower like Russia, which the von der Leyen defined, they have to take washing machines to get the chips out of to put in their missiles in their planes. And you had another thing, they've been using donkeys in Kursk to move Russian troops around this region. The Russians have officially kicked out the Ukrainians or whatever NATO presence in the Kursk region. And I think using Ukraine as a proxy to gain some concessions at this ceasefire or this peace deals which they're going to do. The West and the Ukraine's got nothing to offer on the table. They have empty hands. And this thing is humiliating the West. All those neocons and warmongers in Brussels and the respective capitals of Europe. They can't take no for an answer. Ukraine's defeated. And the fact is, you can send in weapons into that country and more die on the battlefield in vain. Because there's no time for them to have an adequate military training. A few hours when they get kidnapped off the road and on the battlefront with a machine gun in their hand, and they got the bellies, not even the foggiest idea how to use it. It's just cannon fodder. These people have been used in the name of the West. And if Europe goes to war, it's going to be us going to be used as cannon folders, sons and daughters. And Europe is just a sitting duck. Because Russia, whether you like it or not, they're more near enough battle ready than regarding Europe. They are in full war mode industry. Have more than 1,200,000 troops trained. Most of them are battle ready experienced on the front line. And with the thing of hypersonic missile technology, which these missiles go 13 times the speed of sound. Has the West got any wonder weapons of this type? No. The Russians, they can just wipe us out within 72 minutes. Launch a whole series of these type of missiles with a warhead, EPM, on nuclear warheads. You just wipe out the West, and most of it will return into the dark ages like society, because there won't be no more modern creature comforts if you get hit by an EPM. Electricity will cease to exist. And even if you manage, people survive, to rebuild a war-torn continent will take decades. And most people will perish. And this is a known fact, because think tanks of Washington know this. If an EPM hits a nation, 90% of the population within 1 year will perish for serious factors. Death, chaos and confusion, illnesses, starvation, the list is long. And only those intelligent and strong, physically speaking, shall survive. The weak and the elderly will perish. It's a cruel law of nature. Whether you accept this thing or not, war has no mercy for no one.